gonna be continuing on full timeline on Five Nights at Freddy's series.
Performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Oh God.
That if he wasn't careful, the animatronics could do that to him too. The hallucinations were most likely induced by the gas in these tanks found in the underground area nearby. In the private room and sister location, we can also see the kid's bedroom in the hallway in these monitors, where William was probably controlling the simulations. We also see the Fredbear plush that would talk to the kid throughout FNAF 4. William would talk through it to his son, to make him do what he wants, think what he wants, and sometimes be comforted. Here, William is talking through Fredbear to his son, telling him to leave the restaurant immediately. Notice how he says, "Remember what you saw?" It's possible he's referring to his sister's death, or even something else entirely. The home we see the child in during the minigames is his actual home, right beside his dad's new restaurant. In this home, we can see his sister's old bedroom as well. Then there's his so-called older brother, who is most likely supposed to represent Mike or Michael, but actually isn't. In fact, he's not even a real person. Remember how earlier I told you how William was able to make himself immortal through the robotics? There's also something else William can do with them as well. He can insert the robotics into a human body, as if he was going to immortalize them like he did himself, but he can make it so the robot AI takes complete control. In other words, he can control human bodies with his robotics. That is what this phony Michael is. It's just another Fredbear plush, a puppet that William controls. The purpose of this controlled older brother is to make the little boy grow to hate and fear Mike. As we all know, William doesn't care for his oldest son at all. The reason he wears the foxy mask the entire time is that the little boy would surely realize this person wasn't his brother once he sees his face. Plus, it adds to the fear of animatronics. Sounds far-fetched, right? Well, listen to this. Take a look at this image. Early on in the minigames, we can see that Mike has paler skin and black eyes, but later on it darkens and his eyes turn white. We've seen this type of change before, from William being pink with dark eyes to later being purple with white ones. And the sister location cutscene, showing that over time the body changes to dark purple and the eyes turn white. These all occur because of the robotics inside of the body. This proves that this kid is not human, which brings us to these other three children, who are all not human as well, hiding in plain sight under their masks. Children that William kidnapped and turned into his puppets. William planned for his son's birthday to be the worst day of his life, bullied all day by these masked puppets. But something went wrong. Very wrong. William didn't plan for this day to be his son's last day of his life. The robot children went too far in order to scare the child. William had accidentally killed both of his beloved children with his dangerous and unstable creations. Now you may be wondering, why wasn't William monitoring this and realizing the danger? He should have been able to save his son. I think this portion of a phone call can explain for us.
After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures.
Hear that? Multiple. In other words, another failure was happening at this time. I think it's most likely that this day, since we never seen a Fredbear entertainer out, he was probably getting suited up, with William helping him into it, just like we had seen before. William was preoccupied when his son was chomped. When the incident occurred and William was drawn out into the commotion, he made a plan. Covering his tracks once again, William decided he would blame the animatronic for his son's death, putting the blame into the fact that the suit was a spring-lock suit. Going back into the room alone with the entertainer, William set off the spring locks and killed the man, making it seem like spring-lock suits are to blame for everything that happened that day. After the child had passed, we get a glimpse of what had happened to him. He hears his mother's voice saying, "I will put you back together." In other words, the child's spirit does not pass on and becomes the entity known as Shadow Freddy. A character only rarely seen sometimes in FNAF 2, sitting in the back room, alone and scared. He's one of the only characters in the game that does not harm the security guard. After the Springlock incidents at William's sister location, it closed its doors for good. William began focusing his work back at Freddy's, no longer interested in pursuing locations of his own. Freddy's immediately made a new training tape for the employees, covering the new changes.
Hello. There's been a slight change of company policy concerning use of the suit. Don't. After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures, the company has deemed the suit temporarily unfit for employees. Safety is top priority. Due to budget restrictions.
Freaking God.
Since that one never really seemed to have issues, something they would later regret. This incident is what brought the mysterious Shadow Bonnie to life, a character only rarely seen in FNAF 2. When he appears, he crashes your game. After this, Fazbear Entertainment no longer associated itself with Afton Robotics, and a different and unknown company took over the care and production of animatronics. Since William was out of job, he took a normal one at Freddy's. Around early 1987, or late 1986, Freddy's was preparing for a big reopening with new characters, as the new production company had finished a new line of animatronics, the toy animatronics. These characters were a mix of various previous characters that Fazbear Entertainment owned, almost entirely built off of old designs. Toy Chica was based off of Spring Chica, so her beak was removable. These animatronics were complete with facial recognition systems that could draw in more parents and also scare away potential threats. These new characters were a great selling point for the company. They drew in the numbers they needed once again. During the summer of 1987, Phone Guy began making training tapes for the night shift security guards.
Hello, and welcome.
You guys, because you heard this call when we were doing Five the Freddy 2 demo.
Haunted, the withered animatronics, and the puppet. And along with that, there was also the restless Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy. It's likely since William was the one working the night shift, it disturbed all the spirits and created chaos.
Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. As for the rest of them, we haven't even... check the lights, put on the...
Ooh, these characters are pretty sweet. I really like this guy. Calls. We hear that the day shift guard is no longer working there, and it was very suspected that he was the one that killed the kids. Notice how he mentions wanting to contact the original owner of Fredbear's. It's a pretty strange thing to say out of the blue, but it's possible that they know the original owner had a run-in with missing children as well, so they may be looking into the company's history to track down the employee present for all of the kidnappings. If this is the case, William is in big trouble.
Hello? What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you...
We have time to do one more minute.
hours at Freddy's, William dressed in the Fredbear suit so he would be harder to identify, and was able to lure kids away. He didn't have the chance to use the safe room this time, since it was already sealed off. Instead, he most likely took them to the office we see in FNAF 2, since there aren't any cameras inside. The 2 newspapers about this incident and Phone Guy's calls paint a very clear picture about how things went down here. William used the same technique for each murder, but they did not all occur at the same time. This is because the newspaper states that he was arrested the next morning, but the phone calls begin with rumors that grow over time and become an investigation. How does that work? So I'll try and piece this together for you. The first time Phone Guy mentioned...
Alright, have a good day, guys, and that's it today, but I'll see you later.